Howdy folks, happy Friday. How are you guys doing? I for one am having an interesting day so far. First I tried to get a garter snake out of the road earlier which tried to attack me. But those things aren't venomous, I don't recommend picking up snakes, period. Or any wild animals that matter. And I was going to do a video today pinpointing some subpar or bad Game Boy Advance ports. I want to do some gameplay videos. I play a lot of good games on my channel. I meant to say this through the clip. What about playing bad games? I play a lot of good games. I don't play a lot of bad games though. I feel like if I play more bad games, that would spark a reaction out of me. Maybe a little differently from good games because I know more what to expect from the classics. But I've been getting a couple links popping up when I've been playing the games, which I can show at the end of this video. Which I'm gonna have to postpone that video now because better safe than sorry. But yeah, so for those more not the snake obviously, but for the pop-up link reason, I'm not gonna do a video on that today. So instead, we're gonna do another collection review. And you too can play Nintendo Famicom games on your NES without the head itch. What I have here is from my arcade. It's a little adapter that you can plug into your Nintendo Entertainment System. And you can even see, look at that, you can even see my face. How about that? You can play Famicom games through this little cartridge here, this little slot. And I think it's really handy for a company that makes a bunch of clone systems or a bunch of bootlegs and stuff. They actually did something pretty neat here. As far as Super Famicom goes, I already have a separate system that plays Super Famicom cartridges and even PAL cartridges, so I'm good there. But this one, because I don't trust Famiclones, and check it out, it makes for a sweet looking sci-fi blaster as well. If you hold it like this. Or maybe a vacuum cleaner. You know a product's good when you don't have to use it to have fun with it. I overall give this a good rating because for technically a Famiclone, even though it's not, you're using the original hardware, the pins are still intact and the games still work fine. And because of that, I got my Famicom collection in here. I don't think I've showed anybody on the internet yet my Nintendo Famicom cartridges, so I have about 8 in total, so let's see where the road takes. This is in alphabetical order. I believe, yes. So to start off, we have F1 Race, decent little racing games. This season of collecting, I got a lot of F1 or racing games in general. One of my favorites so far has to be Final Lap Twin on the TurboGrafx 16. Which has an adventure mode, if you can believe that. And if you want to know how this works, you have to slide it in like this because of the little edges. It snaps in like that, and you got your own little Nintendo cartridge for the NES using a real, authentic Famicom cartridge on real, authentic hardware. The game itself is pretty good. It's a decent racing game. For some reason, this one, I can boot up the game just fine, but if I press reset, the game crashes or doesn't boot up. But, I don't know, kind of weird. Little OG Golf, just a nice little golf game with what's assumingly Mario is the main character, where you... some guy that definitely looks like Mario without his overalls and stuff. I mean, let's be honest, not much to say other than Satoru Iwata's first program game, which was very nice. I mean, let alone this being the Japanese version, which came out first. Rest in peace, by the way. Very nice. Nice little game right there. Mahjong? I love saying that word. Mahjong? I don't have much of a clue on how to play Mahjong. At first I thought it was one of those games where you just kind of match up the tiles, which you kind of do here. And sometimes I really like games like that. Games like SimCity 2000 or Populous, which I have no idea how to play, but that's why they're good. because it's like I'm trying to figure out what to do, and the smallest little achievement is kind of rewarding. Like, I've had plenty of moments in Mahjong where I felt like I was progressing, even though I haven't won a single round yet. I surprisingly went back to this one a few times. It's very basic. I mean, there's many Mahjong games out there. I mean, this is probably one of the most basic you can get, but it's pretty nice. I mean, again, I don't really know how to play Mahjong that well, but I mean, assuming I do make some decent progress here, it's not bad. It's not bad for what it is. This one's written in Japanese, so I don't really know. I mean, I still don't really know the full title of this game. It's a Ninja Jaja game, if that makes sense. It's part of the Ninja Jaja Maru-kun series. Oh, and check this out. They even have like little details on the back of the cartridge, which I think is neat. Jalico. Thinking about something I love about the Famicom cartridges, depending on the company, they can be very unique. So you get like the company label up here, and the Nintendo ones are very basic. These are kind of fun to say. Ninja Jaja Maru-kun. I thought I was picking up the one that they released for Switch Online, and then I took a look at the back of the cartridge, and I'm like, this is not the same game. This is actually not the same game that I played on Nintendo Switch Online. This is actually like another arcade port that they actually put on a lot of like bootleg Famicom cartridges, but don't let that mislead you. It's actually not a bad game. Jumping's a bit weird. I do die a lot. It's a tricky game, but overall, not a bad game. Pretty basic arcade game right there. Also, red's one of my favorite colors, red and green, so that's a huge bonus that they're multicolored. Here's a Konami game to get you excited. This is Road Fighter by Konami. Another game that gets ported to a lot of bootleg Famicom cartridges. Again, not a bad game. Another arcade port. Another pretty well-known arcade port from back then. You gotta watch out for the red cars, because the red cars will actively try to run you off the road, and then you get like the multicolored cars, which give you gas. And it's basically like if Rad Racer was top-down and the stages were much shorter. So it's like level by level, and it's structured differently enough to where I think it's a little easier to play than Rad Racer or Victory Run on the TurboGrafx. I apologize to BitHead 1000 for bringing that one up. Oh, label's a little... No! I mean, that was probably there in the first place. I just noticed it just now. The next three ones are probably my favorite by far. So these ones, I love how the collection just starts off kind of small, and then each game gets, like, better. Like, the games actually get a little bit better. That's funny how it's playing out that way. I love me my Namco. I'm a big fan of Namco games, and I've got two of them here. There's three games left to talk about. One more at the end. But this one is called Star Luster. It is a simulation game. If simulation is as basic as you can make it. Even more so than... What is it? Oh, that one game on the... I can't believe I'm thinking of it right now. It's on the Atari 2600. Hold on. Star Raiders. That's the name of the game on 2600. I can't believe I had to run and look that one up. I'm having a major brain fart right now. This might actually be a little more simple and more exciting than Star Raiders. One, you only need one controller to play it. Star Raiders requires like a keyboard and the joystick, which some Atari games did do, and I think that's kind of novel, but you know, which is actually kind of cool if you think about it. That does make the games a little more in depth. Star Luster is a great game. Like, it's simulator, it's part POV shooter. I think in Star Raiders, it's very hard to hit enemies, where in Star Luster, like, you can still take damage, but it's not as much of a chore to hit enemies, as long as you go where the radar tells you, and then you could, like, select your little locations here, and then you could... How very convenient of these cartridges to have gameplay, screenshots, and little artwork. By the way, Oh yeah, and on here too, I freaking love the little Bosconian ship. I think that's, I don't know, I mean, well, yeah, Namco made Bosconian, but I think it's kind of adorable they put those Bosconian ship on here. No, it's a really good game overall. It even like made it to the Nintendo Versus system, which only a few NES games made it on there. So yeah, if you want like a simulation game, but you don't want it too like relaxed, you don't want to like have it too cozy. If you know what I'm talking about, then get this one. It's great. Now I got this one on NES too, but this one, if you know, you know. But they had like 3 different versions of this game, and while I wasn't crazy about it at first, I could see why it caught on, and for its own reasons, it's great. Tetris, and yes, we all know Tetris is a fantastic game right off the bat. The NES version of Tetris is easier to understand, it's easier to control, whereas this one, you gotta press buttons to flip the Tetroids, but hey, if you press up, you could like immediately drop it. You can, which none of the other Tetris games I have can do. If you know this one, you know about that castle background. Tetris has all kinds of themes and stuff. This one is like a castle setting. It's got the main theme at the beginning, which the NES Tetris did not have, so huge props to Bulletproof Software for this port. I think this one predated the one that came out in North America, which again, I also have. The Tengen one, I would love to buy off just to complete the collection, but that one's like over $100, so that one's no walk in the park to get. But this one's not bad to go with either. I love the simplistic artwork here, this logo and the little falling Tetris block. I still think, for those who love smoother controls, I would still go with the NES version, but that one is definitely, absolutely not bad either. And the last game we have here for today has become one of my favorite games, not just because I have it on the Famicom or I have the box for it, but also because this is a game I played a lot as a kid on my DS for the Namco Arcade Collection, that Namco DS Collection on the DS, which got me introduced to all these freaking arcade games right here, which are awesome. This one is Xevious, and I also have this for the Atari 7800, which was another one I hunted down for a while. Xevious is hard as nails, and again, Namco being Namco, or in this case, Namcot, is a great shooter. Does it hold a candle to the PC Engine or the MSX2 version? Probably not, because those games, yes, suit up 8-bit hardware where they like added weapon upgrades and you could like customize your ship. This one still has like the default arcade mode where you can like you just have your 2 guns and you're shooting down enemies. Still hard as nails, but nah, still a great, fantastic game and a really good port. Xevious is an all-time classic, and I just saw some Famicom commercials earlier. I saw one for F1 Race, I saw one for Mahjong. This was Xevious. I also saw was in the commercial. Sometimes I look up old video game commercials and I could say, hey, I got that game. I'm glad they told me about it ahead of time. But you know, if you know Xevious, you know it's an all-time great game. So, and then to take it out, so we're wrapping up the video, yeah, and you gotta like tilt it. Here's my fat ass stack of games so far, 8 in total, and counting. There's also some more Famicom games at this one location, but you know, some things about these import games, a lot of them are like Pachinkos, a lot of them are like Mahjong, Shanghai, stuff I probably would not get right off the bat. Games that might be fun, games that I might not understand right away, I might have to like look up, but overall, I love Japanese import games as much as the next guy, and I think they're Japanese games that are like action oriented, especially if they're Japan only, then that's a huge win. So yeah, get in while they're hot, and I'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching.